My first prototype was not the actual in the list of one, two. It was my third idea for this particular statement that I'd come up with, which was introverts around other introverts in a safe environment start to act like extroverts. That was the initial one. I may end up slightly adjusting it, but it was based on behaviour I'd actually seen of people in my class, where after a couple of weeks, or even at the studio sessions after an hour, the noise level in the class just gets so loud, which for me isn't annoying because I find it very difficult to concentrate. But you know, they start getting loud and acting out and relaxed, most of them anyway, um, which is very much in my mind similar to extroverts. So, um, I mean, probably at this point seen my piece of my outline and breakdown of that concept, making that assumption, but I could end up coming up with skipping past an idea that involved using ping pong balls and something similar to Lotto's Powerball. I also, yeah, that was my initial first prototype ideas, but I moved on to, after talking with Ben on Tuesday, one of the things I'm interested in or enjoy is puzzles. And so I started looking at a Unblock Me puzzle. Well, a small Unblock Me puzzle that's normal sized and inside a big one. So that would, you could solve the small one. It comes out, and you can't you can't solve the bigger one outside of it. That would symbolize using colors and hopefully size, depending on how it gets to work, how I get it to work. Symbolize, the difficulty of introverts when they come out of their safe environment into the public, and the difficulties they kind of feel or experience. I am introverted, so I know a little bit about this at the very least. So I drew it up. I've drawn it up on cardboard, which there will be a picture on my blog about. Just keeping the grid the same size as in the smaller one, but I will do another. And the puzzle does, the small solvable puzzle does work. I got that tested by about half a dozen to a dozen people in my class. I'm not too sure. I didn't need to test it extensively, because when I first had this idea, the first thing I did was literally download the free phone app Unblock Me game. In my opinion, there was no reason to actually make a new puzzle, because people would have just done it before. There is no reason to come up with something I consider original when someone's probably done it before. So, and since I'm working by myself, I figured it was a very, I wouldn't say shortcut, but we got told to stand on the shoulders of giants. So this is my giant, the phone app. Then it was just picking a puzzle that wasn't too difficult, wasn't too hard. So it wasn't too hard, wasn't too easy, and there was enough moves, so there was quite a bit of interaction, which I'm not the greatest. I'm not the greatest person to decide that straight off the bat without testing, so I picked an intermediate level difficulty. To me, it's quite simple. I can solve it in probably under 30 seconds, to be honest. It's just, since I find it so easy, I can't tell if it's too easy or too hard, because while I might find it easier, someone else might not. So I got it tested, so it's in a good sweet spot, I should say, and now I just have to properly design the outside, the unsolvable, but I don't see any need to actually test that on users so much until I kind of finalize on the grid, because if I want to make the pieces outside bigger than the ones inside to kind of show a bit of oppression, or at least symbolize it that way, I need to it will depend on how I draw the grid, and since it's unsolvable, there is no need for me to, in my mind, to test it at this point. I might change my mind, or I might be recommended to test it probably once I finish it. So that's my prototype, and well, my first one, and then my second one will involve the outside grid being bigger. So when I get that one finished, and then I might at that point be comfortable to move on to the bigger one, but that's just my opinion at this point. It may change when I actually finish making the second one. Yeah.